And the beauty of collaboration is that it doesn't matter at what position you are. So you walk into a room full of CEOs and all the other people in a networking event, say for instance. There's a high chance that the CEOs would likely want to be talking to other CEOs because they're going to be looking at things that are at their level. And for you, just fresh out of school, it's easy to get lost in that. However, when we talk about collaboration, it basically gives everybody a chance, which changes the dynamics. So collaboration is a situation where two or more people are working together to create or achieve the same thing. So with collaboration, it doesn't matter your position, but it's that ability to work together with other people to achieve something. And what it means is, whatever your level is, you bring something to the table. And I think the most important thing, and I really want you to take away today, if you don't even take anything away, is at whatever level you are in life, you have something to offer. And so you have to keep thinking collaboration. What do I bring to the table? You know, and then that's where self-awareness also comes into play. You have to know yourself, know your capabilities, and say, look, I can do this. I can bring this to the table. And with the collaboration mindset, really. I put here social capital, not a very common word, but very important too. Social capital is the networks of relationship amongst people who live and work in a particular society, enabling that society to function effectively. So you see, social capital is about people. Capital really, you know, is more about substance, but social capital is that thing that you can't measure, but it's very, very valuable. So it's about people. So why do we need to network? Why is networking very important? So networking is an avenue to exchange ideas. And I'll take you back again to collaboration, where I said you need to also be thinking of yourself as somebody that has something to offer. But the most important thing is self-development. When we were cadets just like you, I think there was hardly, well, internet had just come on. Emails were like far away from us and all that. So access to information, resources were a bit limited. You know, thankfully we had the library. We would go to the library to do our assignments, but I believe you all do your assignments from your cabin, just relying on the internet. So why am I talking about this now? There are resources out there on the internet. Now all you have to do is just type a word and you have videos, pictures, literature, whatever it is, it's all available. So when networking, when it says it's an avenue to exchange ideas, what are your own ideas? What ideas are you bringing to the table? You know, beyond the school curriculum, you need to also expose yourself to all the information that is available. I mean, YouTube is a very great resource, and I'm really happy that the maritime industry is not left behind. So whatever topic it is you're looking for, you find seminars on YouTube. So I really want to encourage you in your free time, take time, listen to one seminar on a particular subject. You see that you've gained a bit of knowledge. So by the time in a networking environment, somebody is talking about that, or maybe you see an expert in that field, you bring up that topic, you see that you now have something to talk about. So really, really key. Networking is also an avenue for newer opportunities. While the internet is good and there's so much information out there, there's still need for that extra interaction with other people to expose you to other things. Thankfully, one of the speakers will be talking about opportunities, new opportunities in the industry. So it's through networking, you can also be exposed to new opportunities. Again, as cadets, the reality is that the jobs are maybe not readily out there immediately, but there's also need to be very innovative and seek newer opportunities. If this company is employing 10 and you're 100 in the class, it means they can only take 10. What happens to the other 90? So this is where new opportunities and innovation comes into play. Reassessing your qualification are very key and important because when you start to mix with people, I think you start to appreciate that what you have is not enough. And this industry, when it comes to learning, is never enough. It's never enough. And that's why you see, once you're in it, you just keep pushing. You finish one and you're on to the next one, because the quest for knowledge is very key and important. And then that knowledge gives you the confidence to interact with other professionals as well. Improves your creative intellect. Definitely, when you're rubbing off ideas with other people, it's an opportunity to measure yourself also, and start thinking of creative ways. I talked about innovation, and start thinking of other creative things that you can do. Is an extra resource library. So sometimes you meet people, you won't get all the information at once, but they lead you to where you get the information that you need. Support from high-profile individuals. I think when Captain Monday comes up here, he will talk about Amano. Really, really great platform, and it has been helpful for me, because the reality is when you are interacting with people of Nigeria, they say big offices with the big names, it gives you confidence when you speak and they listen, and that interaction, it builds your confidence, and that's why it's very important. And we're very lucky that in Amano we do that. Yeah. And then growth in status. So sometimes too, depending on the group you belong to, it also gives a bit of status. Growth in self-confidence. I think I've talked about self-confidence. Competence, skill, knowledge, that's equivalent to confidence. There's no go between in that. Develop long-lasting relationships. I mean, it's over 20 years, and with the gentlemen here, I could call them at any time, and if I need anything from them. And that's what relationships are about. It's about the people you can call when you're in need. Very, very key and important. Okay, so personal conduct. Personal conduct when networking. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a picture that has a semblance of us, but then I think this picture is doing justice to what I want to say. So you look at the guy, they're looking scruffy and or unkempt, while the other guy is well put together, dressed just like you are, seated here in your uniforms. I will tell you this, it's expected that when you leave the academy, you continue to look this smart. Very, very key and important. There's this saying that goes, you are addressed the way you are dressed. Very important that you look smart. And, look smart, it doesn't necessarily mean expensive. Whatever you can afford, but make sure you look smart all the time and presentable. Because again, they say first impressions last forever. This is key because someone sees you, and it's just human nature. Someone sees you and creates a story on you. Now you don't know that that's happening in that person's head, and you might not get the chance or opportunity to correct that for the rest of your life. And you don't know where your name will come up, and the person is there to make a decision about you. So that's why it's very important and very key that you dress smartly. And one here says, be very approachable. Be very approachable when in a networking event. Show interest in other people. Like I said earlier, it's easy for you to not think that you're bringing something to the table. But again, if you have pockets of knowledge in different places, it's easy when you meet a professional to pick interest in what they do and start the conversations. And initiate conversations, really key. Be bold and approach people respectfully, and you can initiate conversations. Give first to receive later. And this is key for collaboration. When you meet people, first thing you should be asking is, what can I offer this person? What can I do to this person? And I think you are in a very advantageous position because you're tech savvy, right? And most of the older people might not be. So already you have something that you're bringing to the table. Technology, definitely you have it, so you can bring it. And that's why you need to think of giving first and then receiving later. Don't bring negativity, always focus on the positivity. Very important. In life in general, it's very important that you have a very positive outlook to life. Keep conversations short and meaningful. Don't force it. Improve your social skills and interactions. Don't ask for a job. Don't go to a networking event and immediately you see somebody and you start asking for a job. No, that's not right. Use your resume as a tool for advice. And now with your generation, I would give you this advice for free. What people see on the internet when they type your name matters a lot. And I remember when we were cadets then, there were people that were sacked from cadetship because then the schools were company sponsored. So you came to school sponsored by a company, so the company had the right to terminate your program. And there were people that were sacked because of the sort of things that were on the internet, that they put out there on the internet. So please don't fall into that trap. It's fun and good, but it can be very harmful. And I think yesterday with Monday and one other of our senior colleagues, we were talking about due diligence. And it's becoming important today. What will people see about you? What will people hear about you when they ask of you? So it's very, very important that you conduct yourself properly. And the internet today goes ahead of your CV. While CV is good, it's very likely that somebody will just put your name out there, check. And the things that come up, so maybe you need to do a self-check. Put your name on the internet and see what comes up. And make sure that whatever comes up is something that you stand for. Don't fall for the TikToks and all of these things that while they're good, concentrate on the good parts and try and stay away from the negative end of the internet. Very key. And that's where, beyond your resume, that's also another form of introducing who you are. But then use your resume as a tool for advice. So last week I had somebody said to me, he needs a bit of mentoring on career paths to follow and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, where's your resume? Because for me, if I want to advise you career-wise, I have to see where you're coming from to be able to appreciate the sort of advice I'll give you to where you're going to. So it's very important, have your resume in hand wherever you go, so that when you see the opportunity, the resume is a good place to start. Oh, this is what I've done, this is what I've accomplished. I'm thinking of the next step. What would you advise? What would you recommend? So you see, that takes away from asking for a job. But through the resume now and through that discussion, this person will see that you don't have a job. And maybe, by some luck, if there's an opening somewhere, you can get a recommendation and things like that. So you have to be very smart about these things. Don't take up too much time when networking, so you don't talk like you have the whole time in the world. Most likely, the other person you're talking to has other people that they intend to network with. So keep it sharp, keep it simple, and then hopefully exchange contacts and continue the conversation from there. So I will take us to professional bodies in the maritime industry. There are so many of them, but I just chose this one specifically because I feel it cuts across everyone here. And really, they are first the key platforms for networking. Alumni of Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Oron Amano, ably represented by myself and my colleagues here. I think this is one prestigious professional body that you can belong to. And with professional bodies, it's key that you know your strengths, know what you are passionate about, and when you join the professional body, you immediately just go into service in that area that you are passionate about, and that way you benefit from being a member of the professional body, and also people will easily pick interest in you. So Monday we'll be talking about Amano later in the day. We have Maritime Professional Forum. Again, these are some of those forums where information is being exchanged, and it's very key because it's true information that you know a company is employing. You do it yourself, but the extent is not enough. Imagine 100 people searching for jobs. Definitely one gets an information that you don't have and all of that. So in most of these bodies, you see that all this information is being exchanged. There's a Nautical Institute too. This is aimed to promote professionalism, best practice, and safety throughout the maritime industry, and to represent the interest of members. It's an NGO with consultative status at the International Maritime Organization. So for the deckies here, this is for you. And just yesterday, we were talking with Monday on how to revive the Nigerian chapter. It's a UK-based association, but very critical and key to the industry. So we'll be more than willing to welcome you all into the Nautical Institute when you become officers. Then there's IMAREST. It's the Institute of Marine Engineering, Science and Technology, the international professional body, and the Learned Society for all marine professionals. IMAREST is the first institute to bring together marine engineers, scientists, and technologists into one international multidisciplinary professional body. So for the engineers, technicians, this is yours, this is for you. And then there's the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers. So this is an exams-based institute. You have to write the exams pass to be a member. The Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers is the professional body for all members of commercial shipping industry worldwide, and it is founded in 1911 and awarded a royal charter in 1920. So this is for the transport. I think there's still transport and business studies. So this is for you. And I try to bring in something for everyone. But beyond this, there are so many others. And if you're with us in Amano, we will continue to guide you others that might be of interest to you. Then the big one, women in maritime. Like I said, starting off, we're 1 everywhere. I think if you look at also the statistics here, it says 1 to 2% of the world's 1.25 million seafarers. Imagine 1% of a million are females, of which largely are on the cruise ships and ferries. So in the traditional commercial vessels, you hardly see females there. And in Nigeria here, I think most of our industry is around the offshore support, and the story is not any different. So I think 2019 was really pivotal for the women in the maritime sector, because there was like a wake-up call on having women participate in the industry and grow also in the industry. And as a result, we have, so there's a pie chart there that says we have about 6,000 seafarers in Nigeria, of which about 567 are female. So basically, nearly 1% of Nigerian seafarers are females, and we all believe that is not good enough. While there are challenges with women going to sea in Nigeria as a whole, and that's what led to the creation of the Female Seafarers Association of Nigeria, which is a group that is meant to advocate, mentor females that are coming into the seafaring career. And you'll be wondering why this topic is important for you, or why would you need to hear about that? You are the future leaders. You're soon going to be the officers on the ship. Even as cadets, you know, the way you treat other females on board really matters. And as you grow through the ranks, we're hoping that you hear it from us. We are pleading that you treat women respectfully wherever you find them in the industry. And there's a reward for that, God knows best, but definitely there's a reward for that. So I plead with you all, as you go out there, please do treat women respectfully, and also encourage women that you see around you, because it's not easy. I've been there, and I'll say it for sure that it's not easy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The presenter has done a wonderful job to this topic, and we would like to have her again some other time to give us more light on this. On this note, I would like to emphasize that we have a lot of programs lined up for today, and we would like to manage our time. Please, the time is very important to us, so that we'll be able to take care of all the programs that we have. Thank you very much for your understanding.
Thank you very much. Before we bring on our next speaker, there's an important piece of information to the cadets. Please, there will be an attendance list passing around. Please endeavor to write your email addresses in caps, very clearly, legibly written, so that whatever resources need to get to you, you won't miss out on it. Thank you very much. Now, our next speaker, Stephen Omale Uja, was born and bred in northern region of Nigeria, Kaduna State to be precise. He attended nursery, primary, and secondary schools in Kaduna and Plateau states respectively, before proceeding to the Maritime Academy of Nigeria in 2002 to 2007, ultimately bagging an award in HND in Maritime Transport and Business Management. After his graduation from the academy, he worked in various private sections of the maritime industry for over a decade in Lagos State. In 2017, Stephen Uja set up a corporate business that is into marine logistics and consultancy services in Lagos. Part of the consultancy service is rendering training, research, and human resources management. He recently coordinated the recruitment of stevedores for an offshore stevedoring project for some of the IOCs for 11 stevedoring company, also known as Maritime Labor Union. Stephen Uja is married with children. Please, can we give him a round of applause as he takes the podium? Please don't stop clapping till he gets there. Encourage him, encourage him. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Stephen Uja, you're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Permit me to remove this. All protocol observed. I want to appreciate everyone seated here, especially my lecturers who groomed me and my colleagues here. I will start with Dr. Kelvin Okona. He was not just my lecturer in chartering practice, but he was my project coordinator. He supervised me on my project, tanker management operation, during my HND. He really groomed me. Dr. Lawal is here. And I will not forget Mr. Dunia too as well. So I don't know that you're a doctor now. I still remember one particular topic that you taught us in HND. Reduce echelon form. That was the only difficult topic I know. I can still remember it today. I have to go and cram it before I enter the exam hall. That's what we call the real manner. All right. They said I just have just a few minutes for my presentation. I will try as possible to see how I can catch up. On CV writing and cover letter. As you'll be stepping out of this place in a few days or few weeks from now, you are going into the labor market. So your presentation matters a lot. Your presentation will speak a lot for you. Outside your networking, or you have a strong connection or a long letter, some of those places that you are going to visit or you throw your applications, your presentation matters a lot. It speaks for you. What is a resume? It's a one-page summary of an individual's skills and experience. Yes, as a newly graduated cadet, this might not be for you. Actually, for the experienced ones. But the one that is meant for you is the curriculum vitae. That is the CV. CV outlines the relevant education and duties carried out in the past roles. So now, if you are to prepare your CV, first and foremost, as a fresh graduate, your educational background, right from your nursery, primary school, down to your academic level, where you are at the moment, outline it properly, and the roles that you have played while you are in academia as well. Because at the moment, I know most of you does not have experience. The only experience you might have now is during your CTEM, your CWA, or your IT, and CTEM as well. The role you play while you are doing your IT and your CTEM, outline it proper. Don't mix word. The basic thing you do, ensure that you state it proper in your CV. That will speak for you as well. You can use resume when you want to stand out in a position. That is why I said it belongs for the experienced ones. When you want to stand out in a particular position or a specific role, that is when you use a resume. It's just most times a one-page write-up that will just define what you have done and what you are doing at the moment. The evolution and the creativity of CV. Back in those days during our time, when the internet was just coming up, I remember if we were given a term paper to write or to do some research, there was no internet in the academy here. We have to fly back to Oron Town, visit one of those internet cafes to make our research. We did not have those means you people are having now that you are of internet facilities. But at the moment now, CV has evolved over time and now include graphical illustration, web-based, and pictures of an applicant or a candidate. A professional CV must be moderate in writing, use of well-structured templates. If you must use picture, use the professional pictures and not casual pictures. What are we trying to say here? If you want to use the picture, use the professional picture in the sense that it makes you look smart and coordinated. You don't need to go and pick a picture that you went for one wedding, one or one bear, and paste in your CV. Or if you are into modeling and you pick one of the pictures, you feel you are looking so beautiful and handsome, you paste this in your picture. That does not concern an HR manager. It does not give them the attention. Probably get something like a passport photograph that makes you look smart and you are bold, your face is boldly appearing on it. For the guys, you can even wear a suit and a tie that make you look smart. That speaks for you a lot. What to include in your CVs? Your contact information. Do not include a phone number that does not belong to you. Neither your cousins, your siblings, or your father's contact. Thinking that, okay, in an event whereby my phone is not available, my contact was not available at a particular time, let me include my siblings' contact so that the person can be reached on my behalf. No. The first moment an HR or an interviewer calls a number and it doesn't belong to you, that is already a red flag. It shows that you are not serious. So put your contact that you know belongs to you, that if anytime you are to reach, it will get to you immediately. Not reaching out to somebody and say, okay, please hold on, let me give him phone. He's right behind me. No. Personal statement and career goals. Work experience. In your work experience, since you don't have much experience at the moment, just state the experience you had during your IT and your CTEM. Project your core skills and how you utilize them in your daily work activities. Be specific with details. Avoid being vague. Academic background and professional certification. Awards and achievements. Your academic background and professional certification, if some of you who have probably registered with, okay, let me give an example for the transport management cadet. If you have registered with Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, probably as an affiliate member at the moment, that is a category you can belong to now as a student. You can also include it in your CV as an affiliate member. That is a student membership. By the time you leave this place, you can process with the next step of being a full-time member of the body. There are other bodies too, the professional bodies you can also be. We have CIOTA now that is also existing, Chartered Institute of Transport Administration. Sorry, I'm just giving an example for maritime transport. Same thing goes with the nautical science and the marine engineer as well. What not to include in your CVs? Irrelevant personal information like date of birth, marital status, religion, local government. For local government, except you are applying for a federal government job. Due to the quota system that is always used to count, that is when probably you might add your local government and your sector. You don't need to add those things. Or your village name, you don't need to add it. Just be specific, take out those things so that you do not make your CV look very elongated. Avoid grammatical blunders. Unexplained gap in your employment history. Take for instance, you worked somewhere for 2 years, and after that 2 years you lost that job, or you relocated to another place. And where you relocated to, you didn't pick up a job immediately. You stay behind for 1 year or 2 years again. That gap between before you got another job. If you are preparing your CV in that respect, you don't need to explain that. State when you started this work first, 2017 to 2020, and you got another job. 2016 to 2019, and probably due to COVID-19, you lost your job, and now you got another job in 2021. Just leave that space there. When you are going to be interviewed, the interviewer can ask you, what happened between this gap? You can then explain. Lying and misleading information, you don't need to lie about your CV. That will not speak well for you. References. Employers will usually ask you if you get the job at the end. So you must not add your references in your CV. Most times, when we are going through some CV sometimes, we even see some people including the references of the church they worship or the mosque they worship, putting the imam's name or the pastor's name. That does not make you feel holy. Or that does not make the employer feels that, okay, you are from a reliable background or a reliable person. No, they don't consider that. So it's not necessary you must add it in your CV. When the need arises, the employer or the interviewer will certainly ask you, who are your references? Avoid lengthy CV. Bad formatting. Use same professional font all through your CV. Cliché. Avoid copying and paste when you are preparing your CV. An example. In the few times that I've been into this HR consultancy now, I have noticed that there's a particular slogan that is used by most candidates. I am oriented, I am a good getter, I am a team player, I can work under pressure, all those things. It is a copy and paste. If you have 100 CVs, out of about 80 of them will have similar slogans. Avoid it, just be unique to yourself. Okay, I just give an example now of the copy and paste. I'm dynamic, enthusiastic, sales-oriented, IT literate, result-driven manager, blah, blah, blah. If you're an experienced person, I give an example here too of an experienced person, how you are to be unique with your CV. A senior librarian with 10 years experience of managing online resources in the health sector. That is all. Then as a new, fresh graduate going into the industry, you can just make it straightforward. I still give an example, using an example of a transport management student, fresh graduate of maritime transport, marine logistics officer with specialization in shipping, trading, and economic impact, seeking an employment opportunity in an areas where I can further develop in maritime security, maritime operation, shipping agency, ICT application, or maritime transport. That is enough. CV keywords. Employers send out adverts outlining key areas they want to assess candidates on. These are the key areas that should be contained in your CV. Tweak your current experience around the keyword to get your CV to the actual human resources manager, as most companies use software these days, or robots, to filter numerous CVs that may receive for job vacancies. What am I trying to say here? If an advert is placed, study the advert very well, know the keywords that is necessary in that advert, probably the responsibility that is expected of that person to perform, the task is expected of that person to play. Ensure that your CV suiting those keywords. When you are preparing your CV for that particular organization, ensure that your CV suiting that keyword that has been stated in the advert. By doing that, these days, we cannot have over 200 CVs and you expect us to be going through it one after the other, spending days on reviewing CVs. Most organizations these days use softwares and robots that filter those CVs. So by the time your CV suiting the keyword, it's easier for those software to just pick out your CV that, okay, you are qualified for an interview. Okay, I just gave, this is an example of an advert placement with some of the keywords. So by the time you see an advert like this with a keyword, responsibility, duties include maritime survey and management system audit, hull and machinery system. This is an example for a marine engineer. On vessel in service in accordance with class rule, statutory surveys in accordance with IMO regulations, SOLAS, MAPO, and the rest. By the time you see this responsibility that is going to be played by you, you ensure that your CV suiting those keywords. Summary. Use a professional template when preparing your CV. Keep it simple. Highlight your achievements you've had in the past. Avoid references. Maximum of 2 pages is enough. You don't need to write 3 pages, 4 pages. That does not mean. Just 2 pages is enough. A cover letter is a formal letter, so it should have a characteristics of a formal letter, that is date, personal address, formal salutation, etc. Start with, when you are preparing a cover letter, most times it comes in a 1 page. Start with an introduction of your latest education, qualification and summary of your relevant skills to your profession. Highlight your wins in order to grab the reader's attention. Sometimes when we request for, okay, send your CV and your cover letters, we don't really check the CVs. We'll just go to the cover letter and just read your cover letter. That alone can tell us, okay, this person is qualified for an interview. So write something unique that will grab the attention of the reader. Follow up with strong, unique reasons why you are fit for that particular job. Show some level of confidence and prove yourself in your write-up. 1 page between 240 to 400 words is enough for your cover letter. A good cover letter should tell a unique and creative stories. Highlight a mutual connection between the company, positions, and the candidate. Express passion for what you do and accomplishment while doing it. Explain why you are a good match for that company's position. I remember Tony Elumelu, chairman of UBA and Tony Elumelu Foundation. I attended one of his programs one time when he said he didn't graduate with a first class or 2-1. I think, was it third class or 2-2? I can't remember. But one of the lower cadre. But he was not discouraged. And he was coming from a poor background. So when he was applying for a particular job, he knew that he was not qualified for that job because of his grade that he graduated with from the Ambrose Ali University. But with the zeal and confidence that he has, he still applied for that job. But if you may ask me, what made him identify? It's because of the cover letter that was requested he should write. In his cover letter, he explained why he feels he's a good match for that particular job. which is banking. He said he knew that banking sectors most times, as a fresh banker, they will give you a target of probably 20 people in a year. But in his cover letter, he said, I will want to have a target of over 25 to 30 people. Meaning that he has given himself extra tax. So he's directly proving to the organization that he wants to do beyond that 20 target. And when the HR team saw that this person is saying that he wants to meet up target of 20 to 25, even more than their benchmark, why not give him a try? That was why he was considered into the banking sector. And today, he was former CEO and presently the chairman of UBA. So when he got into the job, he ensured that he proved himself beyond his qualification, beyond what he got as a third-class candidate. So most times, you must not graduate with a distinction here or upper credit. You may graduate with a pass or lower credit, but that should not discourage you. What is inside you matters. It's not what you graduated with here. So ensure that what is inside you, that is burning inside you, you manifest it when you are outside there. Once you manifest it, no one will look at your qualification any longer. It's what you can bring out that matters. So, and if you are graduating in the first class year or a distinction year also, ensure that you prove yourself that you are good with that qualification as well. A good cover letter should not include as follows: typographic and grammatical errors. So when you prepare your cover letter, ensure you review it over and over. If possible, if you have someone close to you at that moment, pass it to that person to also go through it, to review it for you, just to avoid some grammatical error. The moment that grammatical error is noted, it's already a red flag on you already. Personal and family information, it's not necessary. Lies and exaggeration, that is not necessary. You don't need to lie about yourself. Salary expectation as well is not necessary. When they get to that stage of employment, the interviewer definitely will ask you, what is your salary expectation? Frequently asked questions. How long should my CV be? Maximum, like I said, 2 pages is enough. Should I specialize my CV or keep it general? Well, it all depends on the nature of the advert. If the adverts specify a particular role, take for instance, the deck or the engine guys that might have an advert, they'll say, okay, you must have an experience, a gas experience endorsement. It means that if you have worked on a crude oil tanker, you cannot apply for that particular job. That is what we consider as specialized CV. Should I list my work experience achievement? Yes, of course. List your work achievement in the past that you had. What resume format should I use? To be on the safe side, use Microsoft Word. Sometimes some HR will request that we want it in a PDF format. Fine. After preparing it on a Microsoft Word, you can convert it to PDF. But when that is not requested, just maintain Microsoft Word. What should I write when I don't have experience? When you don't have experience, just be unique. Ensure that, prove to them that if you get this job, you are going to perform very well. I think I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I was equally learning so that if I had the opportunity to be asked by someone who believed that I can do better than him, I'll be able to put him or her through. Please put your hands together for the last speaker. He he just did what you need to equip you to the next level. And I want you to take advantage of that. Very soon, our next topic is going to, the next speaker or presenter is going to be via Zoom. ICT, please, we're ready. If you can hook on to the next speaker, we'll be glad. Please make sure your questions are ready. You write them. We're not going to we'll only give you the opportunity to just read them, then we'll collect it from you and hand over to the it should be brief, it shouldn't be long. One question per cadet when the time comes. Don't give us 3 questions. You have all the opportunities. I observe that the ladies have not been asking questions. Female cadets, we are gender sensitive here, and we recognize your presence. Please make good use of the opportunity you have. Okay. Hello, sir. Can you hear us, sir? Please exercise some patience. We want to get the technical crew ready. We want to hook on to next speaker.
Okay, I'm on mute. Can you hear me now? Okay.
You
Am
can
I
hear us.
live? Am I good to go?
Hello, sir. Can you hear us? Hello? Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello? I cannot hear you. Okay. So do I start? Can I start?
We can hear you, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Hello, can you hear us, sir? Can you hear us, sir? Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello,
Hey,
sir.
Billy. So should I start? Oh, are they introducing me first? I didn't. I can hear you.
Can you hear us, sir? Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear us loud and clear?
I can hear loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, invited guests, other speakers here present, I would like to introduce to you the next speaker. He is Akaninyene A. Inyang. He's a lieutenant commander, commonly called AK. He reported to Coast Guard Academy July 2018 to resume assignment as Gulf Company officer, responsible for the leadership development of over 130 cadets. His prior assignment was at Coast Guard CG. Activities: Europe from July 2015 to July 2018, serving as a Marine Inspector, MI, and Port State Control Officer. He planned, led safety and security inspection